What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching the Ragin Nation Show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things matter in the world of upcoming films. In this episode, let's talk about Terminator Genisys and the future of the franchise. I've seen Terminator Genisys. I did a review for it, spoiler free. You can check it out on this channel. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. After 1 week of its release globally at the box office, it has made $135 million worldwide. For its domestic opening, that's for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it made $27 million. Not very high. After 1 week, domestically, it made $50 million. $85 million was for the rest of the world, and for the grand total of $135 million. At Rotten Tomatoes, it currently holds a score of 26%. That's not a very high rating. What is going on here? I thought this was a film that a lot of people wanted to watch. First of all, I'll tell you that a 26% rating at Rotten Tomatoes is not going to deter or prevent me from watching this film. I want to watch this film. I was looking forward to it. And it could get an 8% rating, and that would not stop me from watching this film. It doesn't matter. Critics do not matter to me, okay? This is a classic franchise. Or rather, the first and second film by James Cameron are two very, very classic films. I want to see the next installment. So, I went to watch it, and I gave it 5.5 out of 10, making it the weakest installment in this 5-film franchise. Now, like I said, I thought a lot of people wanted to watch this film, and a lot of people did watch this film, but the box office take really tells you something. You got a classic film like Jurassic Park, you also have a classic film like Mad Max, and you have a classic film like Terminator, but when you take a look at the results, critically and at the box office, you get very, very varied results. First of all, Mad Max Fury Road was a success amongst the critics. 95%, quite high. Jurassic World was a success financially. Over $1 billion after 4 weeks. That is insane. That broke some records. Both of which are classic films. Terminator is a classic film. And we're getting the 5th installment to this franchise. But it seemed to not have succeeded either with the critics and also at the box office. Because both the score at Rotten Tomatoes was low, as well as the box office take. $135 million probably didn't even cover its budget after 1 week. So that's why we got to talk about the future of the franchise. Is it even going to happen? We don't know yet. Warner Brothers, or not Warner Brothers, Paramount Studios and Skydance Studios, they have not confirmed whether or not we are going to see these sequels happening. They just have to wait and see what their revenue take is by the end of its theatrical run. After all, this is a business, and it doesn't matter how well your film does with the critics. They just need to know how much money it makes, and they haven't seen quite a bit. So what is going to happen? Well, you know what? That's left up to be determined by the audience, and if they end up watching this film. As a matter of fact, I will be surprised if Terminator Genisys even makes $100 million domestically, because typically a film would have a 50 to 60% decline. So if it's made $27 million on its first weekend, its second weekend we're probably going to see, I'm going to predict $15 million. And at that rate, at that a consistent decline, it's not even going to see $100 million domestically, which is actually quite alarming. Because this was planned to be a franchise. It's a rebooted franchise. And in fact, they already have dates locked in for Terminator Genisys 2 and Terminator Genisys 3. May 19, 2017 was the second film. July 29, 2019 was the third film. So what went wrong? Was it the film itself? Was it Alan Taylor and his direction? Do people not care? I care, I'm a fan. Was it the marketing? Did the marketing spoil everything? I mean, Alan Taylor did not want the twist revealed, but Paramount Pictures wanted that to be revealed because they wanted to show the audience that this was going to be a different film compared to the previous ones. So that's why they did that. Alan Taylor disagreed with it. And because of that, it spoiled a lot of things. And in fact, it might have affected how people feel about the film as a whole because there were no surprises in the film, making it a film that's not very eventful, and in the end affecting their score of the film. So that might have hurt it. And when I was watching the trailer, it just felt like the same type of film that we've seen before. You know, Terminator chasing after humans, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, he does battle with the evil Terminator. So a lot of the same type of stuff. I mean, sure, they've changed it. They've made it now into a time-traveling movie as opposed to a chase film. I mean, half of it is a chase film, the other half is a time travel film. So, I don't know, maybe it was the wrong direction, and because of that, people didn't like it and gave it a bad word of mouth, and therefore, less people ended up watching it when they originally wanted to watch it, okay? So what's going to happen with the future of the franchise? Well, that's to be determined, but I'll tell you one thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he is expected to return for the second one, but not to return for the third one. Okay, he's only signed on for the second one. J.K. Simmons, a character that I really enjoyed watching in Terminator Genisys. In fact, I would have wanted to see more of him in Terminator Genisys. He signed on for all three of them. He's a very pivotal type of character for the franchise. As a matter of fact, they already have the story like roughly mapped out for for both sequels. So for all three films, they have the story laid out. They just don't have a script for it, but they have a general idea of where the story is going to go, and they know what J.K. Simmons' role is for the future sequels. That's why he signed on for the next two films. So I don't know what they're gonna do. The most important thing, other than the fact that they got to make a lot of money back, is where they're gonna take the franchise. Because something that I've really wanted to see was the Future War. Are we going to get that film? I think a lot of fans want to see a Future War. The Future War is, of course, it's always been teased at the beginning of all of the Terminator films except for Terminator Salvation. They gave us a future film in Terminator Salvation, but they gave us the film that happens before John Connor becomes the leader of the Resistance. So it's less eventful, okay? But as for the actual Future War itself, we still haven't seen that. Hold on a second. Hello? We haven't seen that Future War yet, and I wanted to see it. I'm sure a lot of other fans want to see it, and I hope that one of those films in those two sequels is the Future War. Perhaps the third film, make it a grand finale where they actually destroy Skynet, and then there's no more Skynet in the future. You know, that could be a potential idea for, you know, the ending to this new trilogy. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. But I thought it would be a great idea because they are doing the whole time travel thing. They're going into the future. And it is inevitable that Judgment Day is going to happen. Okay? It is inevitable that Skynet is going to exist. We're talking about fate here. One of the themes in Terminator is fate. Okay? And you cannot control fate. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's supposed to happen, it is going to happen. You cannot change your destiny. So, you know what? Skynet, Judgment Day is all going to exist. The Future War is going to exist. I hope they give us the Future War. That is my suggestion to the studios. If you want to win your fans back, give us the Future War. I know it's not that simple, but still, give us something different. I felt that we got a lot of the same sort of thing in Terminator Genisys. But then they changed things up a whole lot by the time we got to the third one, thus resulting in a very weak villain. I mean, when you compare the main villain of Terminator Genisys compared to the Terminator, all right, which is kind of like a horror film, and to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, all right, the T-1000, even Rise of the Machines, the TX, they're all three of them very terrifying and scary villains, okay? Who we have as the main villain in Terminator Genisys, not very scary. They're really not, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. And I felt that that's one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't feel that I guess they didn't feel that oomph factor, which was really consistent in Terminator 1 and 2. Because when we saw the T-1000 and Arnold fight, it was like, holy crap. When I saw the T-3000 and the T-800 fight, I didn't feel anything. Maybe it's just me, but I'm telling you, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel a sense of danger. I didn't feel like I was rooting for anybody. I was just watching stunts, and that didn't really blow me away. So, I don't know. They got to give us a stronger villain, and they got to take it in a different direction. And I'm really, really hoping that, like I said, we'll get that future war. I mean, don't you want to see a full-on epic future war, complete with hunter killers and endoskeletons with phase plasma rifles blasting everywhere? Don't you want that? I'm sure some of you guys do want that, because I don't want to see the same recycled thing over and over again. We already know that Skynet and Judgment Day is going to happen, so take us there. Take us to Judgment Day. Take us to the final battle. Take us to the Resistance. We want to see these things. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this video. I just want to share with you my thoughts about the future of the franchise. I don't even know if we're getting more films, but if we are getting more films, I think that we might end up getting them delayed for now, unless a miracle happens. But I don't know if you guys already know, but the way a major studio determines if they want to see a sequel is if they make their budget back in their first weekend. They haven't even made their budget back in the first 7 days, let alone the first 3 days of the weekend. So, what is going to happen? Do you want to see more Terminator films? Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know what your suggestions are for the future of this franchise. Let me know what you want to see in the sequels, and we'll go from there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. They weren't just good at all. I mean, they were bad, okay? They weren't great, okay? And I think that Bryan Singer is the one